Hello everyone, welcome to this demo on AutoScaling with the Citrix Cloud Platform and NetScaler technologies. This is all about being able to automatically and dynamically scale in and out virtual workloads that you have within your infrastructure without the need of an administrator having to perform those tasks manually. My name is Trouard-Riolle and I'm a Technical Product Marketing Manager here at Citrix. So what's this about? So we have the internet, we have our load balancer here connected to the internet with its outbound IP addresses configured, and we have here a small farm of web servers in this scenario. Now what basically NetScaler is providing is your load balancing, your high availability, your application acceleration for that server farm. It means that the users out here on the internet have one IP that they're connecting to via a DNS name obviously, and they're automatically being load balanced across these different servers. The NetScaler itself is also monitoring all of these servers in the server farm for their CPU, memory, latency, as you can see there. Now what happens when the NetScaler monitoring engine detects some runtime issues with these servers? Well, what it does is it communicates with the Citrix Cloud Platform orchestration layer, informs that to create new workloads based on the AutoScale policy. Once those workloads are created, Cloud Platform then communicates back to the NetScaler device, informing it of the new IPs and information such as that, so that the NetScaler can then automatically add those resources and bind them to the load balancing policy. Once that's done, they're now part of the load balancing policy. Those users on the internet will automatically start using those resources as sort of web servers based on that policy that's been defined. So let's take a look at this in the real world, and I'll give you a short demo on how this actually works. Okay, so here we are at the Cloud Platform UI login screen. I'm going to log in within this environment as a user. This is a user of a subdomain. And we're immediately presented with our dashboard, and we can see the number of running VMs, stopped, and total VMs. Some other sort of latest events, information around our networks, etc. So I'm going to focus immediately on the instances that we've got running. We've got two instances that I'm concerned about here, ending in DBC and CDF, that are running with this display name of AutoScale-LB-HTTP. These are the auto-scaled workloads that have been created for my web server. And if we see the DBC and CDF, I can actually jump to my web server. This is the outbound IP address of the NetScaler, the load balancer, and we can see as we flick between these two, we get the DBC and CDF server names. So these are being load balanced. It's in a round robin load balancer policy, and we can see that it's just rotating between those two. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into either one of these, and I'm going to add some artificial load. So wait for that to come up in the console. Now we've logged in, I can add some artificial load. So now this is sending the CPU of this particular web server into a loop, and what it'll do is it'll then breach the thresholds of the auto-scale policy and basically start to create new workloads. So let's take a look at that policy now. So it's a part of this NetScaler LB network. We come into here, look at the configuration, we have load balancer policy, and we can see these are the two workloads ending DBC and CDF. We can see that it's currently configured with a round robin algorithm for the load balancer, and if we look at AutoScale, we can see the information around the AutoScale configuration. It's based on the AutoScale web server template. This is the virtual machine template. There's a compute offering. This defines the size of the container that the workload or VM is going to be using. In this instance, one CPU at 500 megahertz with 512 megabytes of RAM. There's a minimum set of instances, which is 2, and a maximum number of instances of 5 that this AutoScale configuration will operate within. This is kept fairly low for my demo environment just so that it doesn't create hundreds of workloads. Scale up policy for a duration of 15 seconds. If that CPU, in this case I'm using the Linux user CPU, is greater than 25%, then it would look to scale up the number of workloads. Scale down policy, again, duration of 15 seconds. If that Linux user CPU percentage is less than 20%, it will look to scale the workloads down. Likewise, there's a polling interval of 10 seconds and a quiet time of 15 seconds. So you can see, based on all the duration, polling intervals, quiet time intervals, that it'll take a short amount of time before it'll start to scale up workloads, and likewise a short amount of time before it'll look to scale those workloads down. If I go back to the number of instances, we can see straight away that actually these number of instances here, based on the AutoScale LB HTTP display name, has already been scaled up to 4. If I keep refreshing this, we'll see a 5th one appear as well. There you go, there's the 5th one just currently starting. And if I jump back to my screen here for the web page and refresh this, we should see that we start to get the other workloads appearing as well within this. There we go, there's an FB01 now listed. Remember, once the workloads have created, we need the NetScaler to incorporate those into the load balancing policy. So just because the VM has started doesn't mean they'll automatically be being used. The NetScaler needs to do its piece as well. But we can see there's a few more workloads being used within that workload policy already. So we've got our workloads that have been created. Let's jump back to the workload that I've added this artificial load into. I'm going to escape out of that. And now what we'll see, again, takes a few seconds. What we'll see is that the number of workloads that we've had created here will start to automatically be shut down and reduced to now what is our minimum set of instances, which is 2. And that'll take a few seconds before we start to see those come into effect. We might see, first off, we'll see one of the workloads being stopped. It does these serially, so it makes sure that as it reduces those workloads, it's not putting too much burden on the rest of the remaining web server farm. And there we can see that one of these workloads is now being stopped. Once stopped, that workload will then be removed, and you'll see that a reduction of the number of these instances. Now what's great with this, if you think about it, is that all of these instances have come from a single template, and the space that they require for storage is based on the template size and the amount of storage they require whilst they are running. But that is it. There is nothing else that they require. If I refresh this a bit more, we should see in a second another one of those workloads being removed. There we go, another one. Great, so there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. This has been a demo around auto-scaling server workloads within your cloud infrastructure using the AutoScale technology between the Citrix NetScaler product and the Citrix Cloud Platform cloud orchestration technologies. Thanks very much for watching.